As always, I'd like to thank my executive level channel members, Bad Frog, Matrigno, Monopoly Mike, and Matsuda R. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. Today, we are going to be taking a closer look at the world of racing within Upland, because although there's still lots that we don't know about, and hopefully we'll find out a lot more during Genesis Week, communities have taken it upon themselves to go ahead and start creating their tracks now and start building the buildings on there to make them the most appealing tracks. So what I've done, I've gone on to the Upland Racing League, I've taken a look at the current registered tracks, and I've picked out a selection of registered tracks which I think are particularly appealing, and I'm going to take us around the Upland metaverse and show off some of those for you today. But first of all, the sponsor of today's video is me. I haven't done this in a while, but I thought since Genesis Week is coming up, lots of you watching may not be aware that I have a channel membership program. If you're watching this on desktop, there should be a join button under this video, and take a look at the perks, because you can get all sorts of nice benefits such as channel shoutouts, access to a private Discord lobby where you can chat with me and the other channel members, access to my growing collection of analysis spreadsheets, and perhaps most crucially of all, 1 hour one-to-one chats with me where I will give you my unfiltered thoughts about Upland, my strategies. I can answer any questions that you have about the game. So if you are thinking about getting into Upland in a serious way, going into Genesis Week, or you just fancy going above and beyond in supporting the channel, have a look at my channel memberships, and thank you very much if you choose to grab something from there. Anyway, on with the rest of the video, and you'll see that my screen is already looking at quite a well-developed area. What is this area? It is the Quailberg Ring in Bakersfield, and yes, that is a play on the Nürburgring. What I love about this track, and I'm just going to zoom out real quick so you can see roughly where it is on the map. It's in Quailwood in Bakersfield. It's sort of in the southwestern corner, and although I'm going to show you the track layout, I don't even really need to. That's how well developed this track is. You can see immediately where the track is going to go. Because they've just been renting out Spark while it's been pretty cheap. Look at all these houses, and they're not just houses, they are luxury like mansions, right? And they're all in different colours. I feel like this is one of the greatest kept secrets in Upland. So I apologise for breaking the silence on this one, but wow, it is so colourful. I can't wait to race around the Quailberg Ring. That is a very cool track. And for those of you who are curious, this is the layout of the track. You can pause, take a look. But yeah, we were just sort of looking at this bit around here by Quailwood Park, and it goes right up to this this bridge over the river at Coffee Road. It's just very well laid out, in my opinion, for a circuit track. For our next racetrack, we are flying into Brooklyn, and if you zoom in on the Red Hook neighborhood over here and kind of go a little bit out towards the river, you will see a street called Van Brunt Street, and that is the location of another racetrack. I think this is going to be a drag strip, and you can see now it's just popped in. Look at this. This is why I wanted to make this video, because I was just going around looking at some of these registered racetracks, and the amount of work that people have put into making these look like incredible places to race. Like, I'd never really considered buying property in Red Hook, Brooklyn, but like, they're taking this very seriously. There's a lot of investment going on here, so you'd better believe that tracks like this along Van Brunt Street, they're going to see use, and later on when you can display advertisements on your properties and all of that, people who have fast cars that can go in a straight line very quickly are certainly going to be taking part in events in Red Hook. Here is the track, so we're just looking at Van Brunt Street there. There's also the potential to make it a kind of sprint track if we take this final right-hand corner. Not sure if that's going to be part of the final design or not. But yeah, certainly as a drag strip, this looks very promising. We're heading into the very southeast corner of Chicago in Hedgewish, and zooming in on this border here, you'll see South Baltimore Avenue. And this is the home of a drag strip to be. Chicago has a lot of potential for racetracks and drag strips because there are lengthy straight lines all over the city, and this is a really good one. You can see that they've again made a really good effort of buying up all the properties on South Baltimore Avenue and building properties on those. So I think that is a really good addition to the drag strip lineup. So we can't talk about anything in Chicago without talking about Portage Park. There's actually 2 registered tracks within the Portage Park node. There are drag strips. The main bit will be on Montrose Avenue between Major Avenue, which is just on the left here, going along here over to Lockwood Avenue, and you can see that this bit in particular is extremely well developed with lots of synchronized houses, and yeah, it's going to not be cheap to get in on this part of the map, but I can only imagine that these areas are probably going to increase in value in the future once racing is actually in the game and people are going to be able to race along here and marvel at all of the fantastic white and red houses. Yeah, this Montrose Avenue drag strip in Portage Park is really cool. And then of course there is a wider Portage Park circuit which kind of goes around. It's quite a long thing. It goes around the the park itself, but it goes all over the place, which is partly why I managed to grab these nice properties down here. These ones I'm definitely holding on to, and I've already started building on them, to be honest, because I'm confident in Portage Park's plans for their race track. And yeah, just on the screen here, I've popped up the Portage Park racetrack, so you can pause and take a look at that. But as I say, it kind of goes around quite an extensive part. It's interesting to see that the northern side of the track actually doesn't align with Montrose Avenue, which I think is quite cool. So it gives people multiple opportunities to get involved in the racing scene. There isn't one strip that is involved in both the drag and the circuit side. But yeah, even just the shape of this track just looks quite impressive. I like this kind of slalomy bit here, and there's plenty of long straightaways and sharp corners. It's quite a well-balanced track, so I think this could become one of the iconic mainstays of the Upland racing scene. Heading on to Cleveland, and this one's a little bit different in the sense that I'm not sure if the track has been 100% confirmed, but I really like the idea of it, so I wanted to share it here anyway. This is the Super Miles Circuit. It's all in Glenville, and it's going to come down here in Parkwood Drive, and it's going to sort of cross over here at Superior Avenue, and then go back up East 111th Street. So this is certainly part that is being considered at the moment, and you can see that they've already started developing a decent number of properties around here. So this could be a track that you could get in on while it's still being developed, because there is certainly a lot of spark being committed here. You just have to scroll along and you can see that is indeed the case. Now, why do I like this idea? Well, it's actually Glenville has a whole number of Superman related street signs all over it, and that is basically the premise. So the idea is that you'll be racing along the streets that have the Superman signs on them. I went a little bit further north up the track, and along Kimberley Avenue you can see a ton of coloured houses along here. And if you go onto Kimberley Avenue, which is part of where the proposed racetrack is going to go down for the Super Miles circuit, if you just click here on the street view, look at this. This is clearly probably the childhood bedroom of the creator of Superman, I imagine. So yeah, that is quite cool. It's kind of been turned into a bit of a museum. So yeah, what a fantastic idea for a circuit. So if you can take a look at that and you're curious about the idea, might be worth a go. Now, of course, you would expect that Detroit is going to be a city where the racing scene is going to be quite active. If we zoom in on the airport sub-neighborhood along this northeastern corner here, you'll see the French Road Circuit. Well, there's actually proposed a drag strip, a circuit, and a sprint race, all centered on French Road. And you can see that there's already been quite a significant effort in order to build up this area and get it ready for racing. Once they pop into the screen, here you go. Look at this, lots and lots of houses along here. It might be a little bit blurry, but this is the full circuit. So along the right hand side here is French Road itself. And yeah, as you can see, it's quite a well-designed track in my opinion. French Road is clearly the standout road on there where you'll be able to reach extremely fast speeds with the right vehicle. But it has a decent number of corners as well for those who want to test out a more well-rounded type of racing car. We're in Kansas City now, and this next racetrack is one which you can just see from a mile away. It's basically the entire neighborhood of Lake Wacomis. And yeah, you can already see this is going to be a really cool idea for a track because it has kind of the windy roads that go all the way around this lake. And if we zoom in on this, hopefully we'll be able to see that it's already had quite a lot of development being done on it. And here you are, they're just starting to pop in now. I think this is certainly going to be one of the more exclusive race tracks in the game around this lake. Lots of people have already started popping up big mansion houses around here, and it's just a really clever idea for a circuit, basing it around such an obvious geographical landmark that you can see from such a long distance. And it doesn't really have any long straightaways, so this is certainly going to be perfect for people driving vehicles that have great acceleration. I'm not sure if the top speed is going to be quite as essential around here on Lake Wacomis. I think this is going to be a very pleasant one to drive around, just being able to see the water. I think this is going to draw a lot of ventures over to Kansas City to try and support the whole scene that's going to be created as a result of this circuit. Kansas City, it's a place you don't hear too much about recently in Upland. Racetracks like this, it could be the start of something quite special. There's quite a few tracks, probably unsurprisingly, being built in Los Angeles, and one of these is probably the least surprising of all. The fact that there is indeed there was a highly speculated street, actually, in terms of collections, right on the Venice waterfront called Speedway. And of course, Venice did make it as a collection. Unfortunately, Speedway itself was not. But fear not, because the residents of this street have turned it into a licensed drag strip. And you can see as I'm scrolling along Speedway that there's certainly quite a lot of development going on here. I could see this increasing in interest quite a lot over the coming weeks, especially after Genesis Week, when we get a little bit more clarity about how cars are going to work in Upland and when we might expect to start seeing racing. So yes, Speedway in Venice, right on the coast. What an iconic location for a drag race. I think this one could be really fun. This next one I've spoken about on the channel before. It's the Gilded Gamers Hollywood Hills race circuit. This one is designed so that you're racing below the overlook of the Hollywood sign up in the Hollywood Hills. So if you want to get in on this circuit, I believe there are still unminted properties, so this could be in some regards the most accessible race circuit that I've covered today. Of course, the Hollywood Hills are very pricey, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure if there are actually any unminted properties. I think my favourite bit about the Hollywood Hills circuit is this bit on Canyon Drive. So you're coming along Foothill Drive, you turn right into Canyon Drive, and then it's such a long, fast stretch up into the Hollywood Hills, and you can see that people have already started developing this bit. but you can see that Canyon Drive goes up and up and up, and then eventually you hit Spring Oak Drive, and the circuit basically proposes that it goes along here and then down into this Park Oak Drive and then back down. It kind of winds around. So yeah, if you're sort of looking to get involved in this circuit, I'm going to pop up the circuit on my screen. There it is. So you can see on the left here is the bit where you're coming up Canyon Drive. It's a long, slightly curved straight right onto Spring Oak Drive. Then you're going all the way back down on Park Oak Drive, turns into West Live Oak Drive, and then you've got Briar Cliff Road, which is very tight turns along the bottom here to test out a different part of your car, and then back onto Canyon Drive, and it starts all over again. What a fantastic location for a racetrack. I'm really excited to see how this one turns out. This next one is the Hanson Dam area of Los Angeles, which is owned pretty much entirely by the user Nubs, I believe. And I didn't even realize there were properties available in Hanson Dam for the longest time, but clearly Nubs did his research. He spotted that there were a few along the edges. He's grabbed them all and he's turned it into a really cool sprint race. I'm just going to show you this one corner here just to show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is Waldrich Street in Hanson Dam. Look at this. Look at all these colourful apartment buildings. There's so much potential here in the long term as we're able to add decorative ornaments or billboards or any of that stuff. This clearly shows a player who is thinking ahead, not just investing for the now, but investing because people are going to pay a lot more than what he has spent building this up in order to be a part of such an awesome looking circuit, in my opinion. So congratulations Nubs for what you've done in Hanson Dam, also known as the 10 Dam Miles circuit. And finally we're heading into San Francisco, and we are in Midtown Terrace, which is surely a name which a lot of you recognise as one of the OG nodes within Upland, and for that reason it's already extremely highly developed with a very dedicated follow base, and really that is the ideal location to set up a racing circuit. Half the work has already been done. It's not really within any of our price brackets. You're going to have to pay probably $500,000 UPIX just to grab something within this neighborhood, and even then it probably won't be on this track. But isn't it amazing to look at it? And I really do think this kind of emphasizes the fact that players really do bring in so much of the value of what is determined in an area. Like, the only reason that this is a place that people could theoretically see themselves spending hundreds of thousands of UPIX is partly because the players have invested so much into it and made it look so impressive, but also just being able to be a part of such an awesome community. And with every new addition which comes into Upland, whether that be meta ventures or racing or anything to do with that, communities like Upland's Development United who have these nodes, just being part of that kind of community is worth the entry fee in itself. That's sort of what I'm trying to create with my Radish nodes in Holliswood. I want to create a community which is just as dedicated and awesome as that. I think we're already there, quite frankly. We just need to spend the time building up our amazing neighborhoods. But yeah, I couldn't do a video talking about awesome racing circuits without talking about Midtown Terrace, because there's no denying that I think this is the most developed one which we've looked at today. And if you're curious, this is the racetrack. You'll see it covers pretty much the entirety of the neighborhood, and I like that he's already marked on where all of the existing buildings are. So yeah, well done Upland Development United, well done Midtown Terrace. That is all of the tracks I wanted to show off today. Before I wrap up, I want to thank my executive and director level channel members, Monopoly Mike, Matrigno, Bad Frog, Matsuda R, and Tushar Zing. Thank you so much. If anybody else has any awesome race tracks that they are thinking of registering and they want me to take a look at, throw them into the comments. I'd love to take a look. But until next time, I'll see you then.